in Apex, there's recently been a trend amongst new content. A lot of the new content has been old things from Titanfall returning as new content in Apex, especially in the department of legend abilities. In fact, Seer just received the hover ability from Titanfall, so I gave myself a challenge to win a match with every single legend that borrowed an ability from Titanfall, to find out which of these abilities still holds up in 2025 of Apex, despite being made for Titanfall 2 nearly 10 years ago. And to make sure I give a fair assessment of these abilities in 2025, I forced myself to win a game on every single legend that has a borrowed Titanfall ability. And one thing that definitely carried me through this is the sponsor of today's video, QWERTY Keys, with their Neo 65 Plus keyboard that they sent me that I used throughout this video. Also, the hand cam on this video switches between day and night because this challenge took me multiple days. Yeah, trust me, I found out which Titanfall abilities do not hold up in 2025. But let's start off with a simple one, the grapple ability. Grapple is an iconic ability from Titanfall 2, and when Apex released, this ability was given to Pathfinder, which made him really good in the early days of Apex. But slowly over time, as other legends have received movement abilities and alternate ways to gain the high ground, Pathfinder's kind of fallen off, but I still love him and he really was fun to play and a lifesaver. And honestly, his grapple still has crazy range today. Right here, my life gets absolutely saved by my GOAT, Pathfinder. Also, if you do master the ability to do this floor gap trick with his grapple, where you can basically catapult yourself off the ground, you will be set. He's still really fun to play, especially in Wildcard, where the only map is King's Canyon and some high ground feels a bit OP. Honestly, the win I got from Pathfinder was an extremely lucky situation, but I was going to take it, because I knew this challenge was going to take a long time. I only thought it would take a day. But honestly, Pathfinder's grapple is still really fun in 2025, and he still has a pretty solid pick rate. The same can't be said for our next legend, Octane. Octane and the Stim pilot obviously share an ability because they both have stims that give them extra speed. The thing is, when Octane came out, his stim was really powerful and really fun, but over the seasons, it's just become more and more useless to the point where he went from a fan favorite legend to one not many people bother touching these days. Also, he feels a bit boring, and the health loss from injecting his stim isn't really worth it these days. And since the Season 24 update, where Respawn massively reduced the time to kill in the game, it makes it all the more of a risk to use Octane, because now in Apex you need all the health you can get because you can die way faster than just a year ago. And honestly, Octane wasn't very fun to play. His jump pad is still massively fun, but the tactical has got to change. Luckily, Respawn seem to be planning future updates for Octane, as in a blog post from only 2 months ago, they showed us this clip here, and a few eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. He has no upgrades applied, yet he has 2 jump pad charges. So Respawn in the developer builds are experimenting with an Octane buff, they've just not released it yet. There's always next season, I guess. Still, despite me being negative about Octane, we got a nice finish with him on the high ground, so you can't really beat that. And before we get onto the most controversial legend in Apex, probably ever at this point, let's talk about Wraith. She uses the exact same ability as the Phase pilot. Basically, she has a get out of jail free card. She can go into the void, escape an altercation, and then reappear. She's very frustrating to fight against. And recently, she got some absolutely beautiful buffs, and one actually comes into action here. Respawn gave her a buff where she can exit her phase at any time, which is absolutely awesome, and it helped me massively here. Additionally, over the years, Wraith's phase ability has received several changes, and she's in a great position today. Also, I've got to say, as soon as I picked Wraith on my first game, the first weapon I picked up was a wingman, and I was instantly possessed by the soul of 1,000 Wraith mains with the wingman, and actually hit my shots, and then proceeded to miss them all, so yeah. I think if I was making this video a few months ago, before Wraith received her recent round of buffs to her phase ability, I would be saying she's not very powerful. But since she received those buffs, she's been in a nice position of fun to play and not too annoying to fight against, which is great. And combined with the fact that recently, to match Wraith with the other movement characters, they gave her a massive speed boost buff as well, I would say in 2025 she is a solid pick, especially if you're new to the game. This Titanfall ability still holds up. Speaking of Titanfall though, Ashe. You may be asking, what pilot ability does Ashe have? Well, she kind of has a pilot ability. She has the same dash as Titans. And when Respawn added this passive dash ability to her, it absolutely took over the game. Ever since the day Ashe received this passive ability, she has been the #1 picked legend by a massive degree, and Respawn have pushed nerf after nerf to her, and it's done absolutely nothing. Still, after about 6 rounds of nerfs, she is about double the pick rate of the legend under her. She dominates the game, and I think it's mostly because of the dash. People love it, it's powerful, it's fun, and it makes you feel like a god. The issue was though, while I was recording this video, I literally could not get a win on Ashe. I was going crazy. I was playing for hours and getting so many second places, but just choking. I felt like I was going insane. Until this happens.
Caught like a rat in a trap.
Oh, GG. That took so long. Yeah, I'm not proud to admit, it literally took me hours to get this win. Despite that, at a surface level look at Ashe and her pick rate, I don't think I need to tell you the dash ability, despite being a Titan ability, holds up in 2025, and she is the go-to pick for a majority of the player base at any given time. But your aim has to be able to match your dashes. But this next legend actually borrows 2 Titanfall pilot abilities, and many people think he only borrows 1. And it's Sparrow, so obviously one of his abilities that he borrows is double jump. What's the other one? Well, before I tell you, you may have noticed this beautiful little keyboard in the top left. And once again, this is the QWERTY Keys Neo 65 Sonic HE+, which QWERTY Keys gave me to showcase in a video. And honestly, I've fallen in love with it. I actually now have 2 QWERTY Keys keyboards, and they are both my main keyboards. But for gaming, I use the Neo 65. Obviously, it has the all-key backlight, which is so mesmerizing, I fell in love with it instantly. But also for the keyboard nerds out there, this keyboard uses Owl Labs' new Nova switches. These first of all sound absolutely beautiful because of their magnet bottom out stems, and also they have snappy returns because of the springs. But I swear to God, it also has a carbon fiber plate and internal dampening. But where this keyboard truly shines is the web configurator. You can configure everything on here, like the actuation point of your keys, which is such an awesome feature. You can literally change the responsiveness of your keys, and your keyboard knows if your key is pressed down a small amount or fully pressed down, which gives you so much potential. This also allows you to turn rapid trigger on for your keys, making it ultra responsive. This is truly the most high-tech keyboard I have ever owned. And obviously, if you enjoy pretty visuals, that's fine, because it has a deep customization element for the visuals as well. And all of these settings are on a web app, so you don't have to install anything. Check it out at the link in the description and the pinned comment. It really carried my sanity. But going back to what we were talking about, what is this other Sparrow ability that he borrowed from Titanfall? Well, it's the scan kunai. Hear me out. Up until season 25, we did not have a scan ability which could be activated from range. But with Sparrow, he can now shoot his tracker dart, and if an enemy stays near it too long, they will be scanned for a long period of time, which is extremely similar to the scan kunai from Titanfall. But it's definitely not as powerful for obvious balancing reasons, unfortunately. Honestly, I'll be the one to admit it. It does feel like Sparrow is held up by his double jump ability, but it feels amazing. And it's upgraded from Titanfall. In Titanfall, you could only double jump, but in Apex, if you mantle a surface, you can actually push yourself off it with massive verticality using his double jump ability, and then chain a double jump off the back of that, which allows you to climb pretty tall structures. One thing that was absolutely tilting me about Sparrow though is the fact that his ult now shocks you as well. This was like unironically tilting me, but honestly I was just happy to be playing a legend that wasn't Ashe after failing with Ashe for hours. And after playing Sparrow for a bit and getting a win with him, which I was pretty chuffed about after failing for so long, I do have to say, Sparrow holds up pretty well in 2025. It does feel like his main kit is a bit weak to make sure his double jump isn't too OP, but honestly that's fine because I always forget about his tactical ability anyway, despite it basically being the baby version of the Titanfall kunai. I would say if you're a new player and have a bit more of a relaxed and also a spotter playstyle, play Sparrow. He's pretty fun. A very recent Titanfall ability that made it into Apex though is over on Seer, which was pretty unexpected. In the last update, Seer's ultimate received a change, so now any Seer that's within the radius of his ultimate gains the ability of enhanced jumping, double jump, so Sparrow isn't the only legend with double jump, and also ADS hover, which means aim down sight hover. So now when you're playing Seer and if you're in the air while inside your ultimate radius, you will actually just hover and have full accuracy against your enemies, which is so fun. And if you're not aware, the hover ability is straight out of Titanfall. Yeah, you might have not known that, because nobody used the hover ability in Titanfall, because you would just get lasered out the air. And the same issue persists in Apex to maybe a higher degree, because people just kind of have better aim, because it's a bit more of a sweaty game. If you make the mistake of ADSing in the air as Seer, and an enemy sees you, you are a massive target. Sometimes it is fun to get a kill while hovering, it makes you feel powerful, but honestly, it's not all that it was built up to be. It's a fun ability to have in our toolkit, and it has a lot of movement potential, but in actual gameplay against skilled enemies, no, it doesn't really hold up in 2025. Hover could have just not come to the kit, they could have done something else. But I do welcome Titanfall abilities with open arms, so I'm not going to complain too much. Honestly, just miss Seer though. For this next Titanfall ability though, some trivia. Which is the least popular Titanfall pilot? Yes, it's the decoy pilot. Well, I made that up, but it's probably true. And decoys, obviously, are in Apex as well as part of Mirage's kit. Mirage's kit is heavily weighted towards decoys. His tactical is just throwing out a decoy, and his ultimate is throwing out multiple decoys. But also, Mirage borrows another pilot ability, which was newly added to him, invisibility. Now Mirage, much like the invisibility pilot, can go invisible while reviving his teammates or healing. Yes, he can go invisible while healing now. So Mirage is now 2 pilots in 1, and I'm a Mirage main. I have huge amounts of fun with him. I would say after 5 years of playing him, I do know how to play him pretty well. And I must say, if you want to try a new playstyle, a wacky playstyle in Apex, and you're not afraid to kind of learn from trial and error, check out Mirage. He is super fun, especially in Wildcard. In my definite controversial opinion, he holds up in 2025. So, looking down the pilot list, what's one pilot we haven't touched on? Oh, you. Yeah, this pilot's probably a candidate towards the most unpopular pilot as well, the AWOL pilot, which stands for Amped Wall. And obviously, Rampart borrowed these abilities in her own way. Much like the AWOL pilot, Rampart can put down a piece of cover that blocks bullets from one way and amps bullets from the other so they do more damage. And Rampart in 2025, I don't think I need to tell you, she's not very good. These days, it feels like her walls are a better tool for blocking doors or just setting up defenses, rather than amping damage off your guns. But I must say, Rampart's wall feels a bit better than the pilot's wall because you can use it to climb high structures, and it is a physical thing in the world that enemies can't walk through. They've either got to go over or around it. Also, Rampart allows better spam with her walls. I really struggled to get a win with Rampart, mostly because I think I was just exhausted after doing all of the other legends, but I eventually got a win with her. So, which Titanfall abilities would I recommend to use in Apex in 2025? Well, as it stands, I wouldn't recommend Rampart or Octane, definitely. If you want a nice, simple legend, I would pick Wraith. It's pretty simple what she does. She phases out of existence. But if you feel like you can be a bit more skillful, play Ashe or Sparrow. Their ability to dash around and jump around enemies can be absolutely powerful if you have their aiming skills. But Respawn, don't be discouraged that Hover is kinda mid. Keep bringing some interesting Titanfall stuff to Apex. And if you're interested in the QWERTY keys Neo, once again, it's in the description and pinned comment. And honestly, this gets my genuine recommendation. I literally threw out my old keyboards after getting QWERTY keys. The QWERTY keys keyboards are heavy, they're solid, they don't slide around your desk, and I feel like these things might just last forever. Anyway, subscribe.